Everybody, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So I'd like to welcome all the devotees. Thank you very much for joining us. I'd like to seek your good wishes and your blessings so that we can continue with the fourth canto. We're on chapter 10. I'd like to seek the blessings of Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada so that we can please the Lord with looking at the Bhagavatam, at least as an overview. But hopefully devotees will have had a chance to also look at the verses in this chapter, if not some of the purports as well. So where were we before we came into this chapter? Just a very quick summary. We had the situation where Dhruv Maharaj was insulted by his stepmother, Suruchi, and she told him, "You cannot sit on your father's lap because you're not born from my womb." He became very upset. He went to his mother, and his mother said, "Well, she's right. If you want to have the privilege of being a king, then you will have to seek, you have to take shelter of the Supreme Lord." That's exactly what he did. He went into the forest. Narad Muni approached him and said to just go back and play with your toys. You're only a 5-year-old boy. But he was very determined. Narad Muni saw his determination and he encouraged him, okay, in that case, I'll give you a mantra. You go to Vrindavan, Madhuvan, and you meditate, you chant, and you seek the mercy of the Lord, which is exactly what he did. And within 6 months, he did incredible, very difficult tapasya. And he received the darshan of the Lord, who promised him kingdom greater than that of his grandfather, great-grandfather, in fact, Brahma. And that is the pole star. Dhruvalok it's called now. Of course, when Dhruv Maharaj saw the Lord, he actually became disgusted with himself because he wanted material things from the Lord. So he became, he offered wonderful prayers after the Lord touched him with his conch shell. But when he returned home, he was still a little sad that I've come back home, but I shouldn't have asked for anything from the Supreme Lord in the first place. So very, very nice prayers by him. Then Dhruv Maharaj, the parents, they met him. They had a nice reunion because his father was very worried about the boy. He's just 5-year-old and he's gone. But Narad Muni assured him, don't worry, he'll be back. He's a great devotee of the Lord, protected by the Lord. And he returned home and everybody was very happy. And then his father left. His father went to the forest. He renounced the kingdom, even before Dhruv Maharaj was married. So it shows you Uttanpad was actually a great soul because he was not attached to the kingdom or the wealth or his family. He left. And that's a really incredible sign. So that's where we sort of finished off. And now, oops, that's not right. It should be 10 something anyway. Hang on, that's not done. Where have I ended up? Sorry. I think this is the wrong, 1 second. Just 1 second, I think this is the wrong presentation. Just give me a second and I'll find the right presentation. No, because, there you go. That's weird. Didn't save it. Okay, just 1 second. Okay, Hare Krishna. So, chapter 10. There we go. So, if you can do this. Muniya vacha Autanapada Bhagavan Stava Satkatanva
Deva
Devashitoti
Shinotva Avanantarti
Avanatati
Haro
Vipakshan
Vipakshan
Yam
Yannamadhyam
Namadhyam
Abhidaya
Abhidaya
Nishamya
Nishamyachata
Jada
Lokonjasa
Lokognasa Tarati Dushtaram
Angamrutyam.
Angamrutyam. All the sages said, Dear Dhruv, O son of King Uttanpad, may the Supreme Personality of Godhead, known as Shangadanva, who relieves the distresses of his devotees, kill all your threatening enemies. The holy name of the Lord is as powerful as the Lord himself. Therefore, simply by chanting and hearing the holy name of the Lord, any man can be fully protected from fierce death without difficulty. Thus, a devotee is saved.
Okay, so this is, we'll see this a little bit later. We'll put it into context at that time. So this chapter is entitled Dhruv Fights with the Yakshas. King Uttanpad was so anxious for self-realization that he renounced the kingdom and family even before Dhruv was married. Thus, thereafter, Dhruv Maharaj got married. He had two wives. First one was the daughter of Prajapati Shushumara, whose name was Brahmi, and had two sons, Kalpa and Vatsara, with her. And then there was the daughter of Vayu, named Ila, and by her he got the son Utkala, and also a very beautiful daughter. They don't give the name of the daughter. Once while out hunting in the Himalayas, Dhruv's brother, it should be Uttama, was killed by a yaksha. Angry Dhruv then went on a chariot to the yaksha's city, where many ghostly beings lived. So the yakshas are actually descendants of Kuvera, very powerful, but a little ghostly. They're not necessarily demoniac, but they're very powerful. He blew his conch shell, announcing his intention to attack the city. Unable to tolerate the sound of the conch shell, the yakshas came out to attack. So then there was a battle. A huge army of incensed yakshas attacked Dhruv, showering him millions of weapons. Valiant Dhruv, who was a great charioteer and certainly a great bowman also, shattered their weapons, devastating the army like a blasting wind scatters its clouds. As heroes, they lauded the action of Dhruv. So they were actually very gallant as well, because they could see Dhruv was a great fighter. So they lauded his action, they applauded it. The yakshas began to flee, just as an elephant flees when defeated by a lion. Dhruv then he observed that in the great battlefield, not one of the opposing soldier was left standing with proper weapons. So he had desire to see their city, Alakapuri, but he thought to himself, no one knows the plans of the mystic yakshas. So he was conservative, he didn't go into the city. Rallying their troops, the yaksha clouded Dhruv in a huge dust storm, sending showers of terrible weapons and hailstones. It rained blood, mucus, pus, stool, urine, etc. Even human trunks began to fall. So this is all mystical. This was all an illusion. Massive serpents vomiting fire, mad elephants, tigers, lions approached to devour him, and a fierce ocean appeared to overwhelm him, as if it was the time of dissolution. So this was all really intense. You can see here with this picture, he was completely surrounded by serpents, tigers, lions, and it was pretty devastating stuff. So he was a little bit shocked by all this devastation around him. So the sages, they helped him. To help Dhruva overcome the Yaksha's illusions, the great sages reminded Dhruva of the power of the holy name of the Lord. Simply by chanting and hearing the holy name of the Lord, anyone can be fully protected from fierce death without difficulty. Thus, a devotee is saved. So this is wonderful advice by the sages. They apply, this is a universal advice for everybody, whether one is in danger or not in danger. One must simply take shelter of the holy names of the Lord. In that way, the devotee is saved. By offering the prayers, the sages also reminded Dhruva about the Narayan Shastra, a Narayan Ashtra weapon, which is capable of destroying all the illusions created by the Yakshas. So that's the end of chapter 10. Any questions or any comments on chapter 10? Okay, we can move on to chapter 11. Okay, let's do this was. Dhammena mangatmani mukta vigrahe vyapashitam nirgunam ekam aksharam atmanam anvichavi muktam atmadrik yasminidam vedam asat patiyate.
Therefore, my dear Dhruv, please turn your attention to the Supreme Person, who is infallible Brahman, face the Supreme Personality of Godhead in your original position, and thus by self-realization, you will find this material differentiation to be merely flickering.
Fantastic advice. We'll see again in what sort of context this advice is given. This is text 29. Okay. So the chapter's title is Swayambhava Manu advises Dhruv Maharaj to stop fighting. Dhruv kills the Yakshas, fixing the Narayanashtra arrow on his bow, discharging volleys of golden hissing arrows. Dhruv vanquished the illusions and cut the charging Yakshas to pieces. To be killed either by the Lord or by his pure devotees, very auspicious for the non-devotees. However, the Yakshas killed by Dhruv, although entering Satyalok, they entered Satyalok. They were, because they were killed by a pure devotee of the Lord. So they went to Lord Brahma's planet, the highest planet in this universe, which is attainable only by first-class brahmacharis. It said that you have to be a brahmachari for 100 lifetimes to attain Brahmalok, Satyalok. Not so easy. But they were able to enter Satyalok because of Dhruv Maharaj. But it's also said that they won't be liberated. Generally, those who live in Satyalok, when the universe ends, Brahma enters Vaikuntha, as do all the residents of Satyalok. But these yakshas will not be liberated at the end of Brahma's life. They come back to this world because they're not pure devotees. So then, hearing that Dhruv was killing many innocent yakshas, his grandfather, Swayambhava Manu, ordered Dhruv to stop fighting. So he came there and he advised Dhruv, for one yaksha's offense of killing Uttam, you have killed so many who are innocent. Manu explained that such killing based on temporary bodily affection was irreligious and unbecoming for their illustrious family line. Instead, he advised Dhruv that you should behave with tolerance, mercy, friendship, and equality. Manu also explained that it's very difficult to achieve the spiritual abode of Hari in the Vaikuntha planets. But Dhruv was so fortunate that he already was destined to go to that abode. So he's explaining that you are a pure devotee of the Lord and you're recognized as such by all the sages. So your life is meant for exemplary behavior. And Manu said to him, I'm surprised. Why are you doing this? Why are you undertaking such a horrible act of killing all these yakshas? So he's just reminding Dhruv that you're a great devotee. Stop doing this. Now, Manu, however, noticed that Dhruv was still not satisfied because his brother had been killed. So he continued to preach to Dhruv, pacifying him that the death of Dhruv's brother, Uttam, was actually predestined. In other words, the Yakshas, although the immediate cause of Uttam's death, were not the absolute cause. This is really instructive advice that Manu gives to Dhruv. There are many elements that bring about death. The Lord himself, he is the cause of all causes. Nothing moves without the sanction of the Supreme Lord. He's also the cause of birth and death, our birth and death. But the Lord is not to be blamed, of course. We have to understand he may be the cause because nothing moves without his blessing. But he's not to be blamed because he's always neutral. And we'll see that a little bit more in a minute. Only by his inconceivable power is everything happening. In his feature as time, eternal time, he is present in this material world and is neutral. There you go, that word again, neutral. Time is neutral towards everyone. No one is his ally, no one is his enemy. And although everything is exhausted in due course of time, within the jurisdiction of time, so now he's talking about, so he's talked about the Lord, he's talked about the time, now he's talking about karma. Everyone enjoys or suffers the result of his own karma or fruitive activities. So there are many causes. And then he also mentions three modes of material nature, how we are interacting with the three modes. These are all different causes. So the yakshas may be in the immediate cause, but there are many other causes. So in this way, Manu is convincing Dhruv that stop doing what you're doing. Manu encourages Dhruv by reminding him of his great achievement at the age of 5 to surrender and serve the all-powerful Supreme Lord. He also preached to him, give up this anger and this illusionary understanding of my, I and my. So Manu was really very, very self-realized and explaining to Dhruv in a very convincing way. Regain your natural position and render service to the Lord, because you've been temporarily affected by Maya. He didn't mince his words either. And you should pacify Kuvera, because by your actions, you have offended him, and Shiva as well. Because these yakshas, they're devotees. They come from Kuvera and they're devotees of Shiva. So they're offended by your actions. And that will have an impact on our family. Have a negative impact on our family. So you need to apologize to them. You need to pacify them. So that's the end of chapter 11, sorry. Interesting chapters. Any questions, any comments? Otherwise, we'll shift on to chapter 12. Okay. Let's look at this verse. Chapter 12, text 36. Yat prajaman swaruchaiva sarvato lokastayo hi anu vibrajanta ete yanna vrajan jantu suyu anugraha vrajanti padrani charanti ye nisham.
The self-effulgent Vaikuntha planets, by whose illumination alone all the illuminating planets within this material world give off reflected light, cannot be reached by those who are not merciful to other living entities. Only persons who constantly engage in welfare activities for other living entities can reach the Vaikuntha planets.
Okay. Good. So, what does he do? 12th chapter named Dhruv Maharaj goes back to Godhead. So Dhruv stopped fighting. He prayed to Kuver, who actually came before Dhruv. Kuver was very pleased because Dhruv followed Manu's advice. And Kuver also further guided Dhruv about the misidentification of the self, of the body with the self with the body, and to engage oneself fully in the devotional service of the Lord. So Dhruv was a little bit worried that Kuver may be offended, but as soon as Kuver came, he smiled at him. He even said to him, accept a benediction from me. What would you like? So Dhruv could have asked for immense riches from Kuver because he's the treasurer of the Devatas. He's able to give anything we want. But Dhruv was very intelligent. He asked Kuvera, please bless him with unflinching faith and remembrance of the Supreme Lord. That's interesting because Kuvera himself is not a pure devotee of the Lord. He's a mixed devotee because he's a demigod. He's a devotee, but also they have desire for opulence. So not a pure devotee. Whereas Dhruv, he was more spiritually advanced than Kuvera. But still, the humility of Dhruv is that he asked for unbroken remembrance of the Lord, just in case Kuvera was also displeased with him, which could have acted as an obstacle in Krishna Smaranam. So when one offends great personalities, the impact of that can be that it can stop us remembering Krishna. So what did Kuvera ask? Please allow me to remember the Lord. Let me engage in unflinching faith with the Supreme Lord. So very, very intelligent, Dhruv Maharaj. His devotional activities from verses 10 to 14 are described. Considered the father of the citizens, Dhruv performed many sacrifices to please Lord Vishnu. He rendered service to the Lord, was respectful to the devotees, and kind to the innocent. He ruled the world for 36,000 years. He used his pious credits by enjoyment and his impious credits by austerity. Of course, actually, he didn't have any pious or sinful reactions since he had already developed Krishna Prema. He was already a devotee. He was guaranteed by the Lord himself to go to the spiritual world. So he could do anything he wants. No problem. Considering his opulence as illusionary creation of material energy, Dhruv left the kingdom and the family behind towards the end of his life. He went to Badrikaksham, and there he performed yoga, fixing his mind on the Lord. In a static trance of devotional service, he became liberated. So what happened? Seeing a brilliantly beautiful airplane carrying two associates of Vishnu, Nanda and Sunanda, who resembled Lord Vishnu, Dhruv, bewildered, simply offered respects by folding his hands and chanting the holy names. So he was surprised to see the aeroplane with the associates of Vishnu in it. So he became bewildered. He didn't know what to say. So he just folded his hands and chanted the holy names. The Vishnu Doots, they explained to Dhruv that because he is worthy, they had come to take him to the Lord's abode, which is very rare to achieve, which has not been attained by any of his forefathers or anyone else, and is the residence of Lord Vishnu. Congratulating Dhruv for his advanced state of devotion, they invited him to board the Vaikuntha plane. So now Dhruv was very, very intelligent. He considered the plane to be as good as Vishnu. So he didn't want to put his foot on the plane. So what he did, he took bath. First he took bath, he performed his daily rituals. He accepted the blessings from the sages, he worshipped, and he circumambulated the aeroplane. He went round the aeroplane. Then he offered his respects to the Vishnu Dutas. And then he prepared to board the aeroplane. Not like just jumped onto the aeroplane and said, let's go. So this is in the purport of actually chapter 1234, text 34. While boarding the Vaikuntha airplane, his body changed to a completely spiritual golden hue. No one can surpass the higher planets in a material body. But when one gets a spiritual body, he can travel not only to the higher planetary systems of this world, but even to the still higher planetary systems known as Vaikuntha Lok. So this is from the purport of text 34. So it's not, I don't believe anyway, it's possible to go even to the heavens in a human body. I think one personality did try, and he asked the help of Vishwamitra to take him in his current body to the heavens. And Vishwamitra did try. And I can't remember the exact pastime, maybe somebody can. But Vishwamitra tried to push him up, but the demigods were pushing him down, and he was sort of stuck in the middle, couldn't go up or down.
Hare Krishna, is it Maharaj Khatwang?
I think it might be. Is it? No. Katwanga was okay. He was fighting for the demigods, wasn't he? And he said,
Yes.
no. He was okay. He
Okay.
said to the demigods. He said,
I heard this. I know this pastime, but I don't remember the name, as you said.
Yeah.
But you said he's still in the air, hanging
still
somewhere.
there, yeah, something like that. Still hanging around, yeah. So if you can't get to the heavens in your human body, there's absolutely no way that you will be allowed in Vaikuntha. So it's made quite clear by Prabhupada that what happened to Dhruv was that his body changed into a spiritual body. He got a spiritual body, and then he was taken up into the higher planetary systems. So that's important to understand. Okay. Dhruv goes back to Godhead. When Dhruv Maharaj was attempting to get on the transcendental plane, he saw death personified approach him, not caring for death. And this is not Yamraj, right? This is not Yamraj, because Yamraj is the Lord of death. Death personified is Mrityu, and Mrityu is actually irreligion. He's a servant of Yamraj, but is actually representing irreligion, whereas Yamraj represents religion, dharma. So not caring for death, however, he took advantage of the opportunity to put his feet on the head of death, and thus he got up on the aeroplane. So this is interesting. This is what the devotee will do. Death may well try to approach the devotee, but devotee will use death as a stepping stone into the spiritual world, because the devotee is not scared of anything. He's protected by the Supreme Lord, as is the case with Dhruv Maharaj. The devotee sang and showered flowers as Dhruv traveled through the universe up to Vaikuntha. However, Dhruv was remembering his mother. And the Vishnu Dutas, Nanda Sunanda, they could understand Dhruv's mind. So they showed him. They said to him, look back. Because Dhruv was thinking, he can't go to the spiritual world without his mother, who gave him the advice. She was his first guru. As he looked back, he saw his mother following in another Vaikuntha plane. So she was coming with him. This is very instructive. So maybe, our relatives, mother, father, they may not be devotees, but this is the beauty of being a devotee, that once you're a devotee, then you help your whole family. So he could see his mother was in another aeroplane in the same direction as he was going. So very interesting. Dhruv was flown to the pole star, Dhruvalok, which is beyond the planets of the Saptarishis, the 7 rishis. It's beyond the sun. It's beyond Bhu Bhuva Swaha. But it's below Mahalok. So this is a nice indication where it is. So there's Bhu Bhuva Swaha. And this is where Dhruvlok is, below Mahalok. But Dhruvlok is part of the spiritual world. It's in this world, but actually it forms part of this. It is not destroyed when the material creation is finished. And within Dhruvalok resides Kshirodakshaya Vishnu on the ocean of milk, Shwetadweep. the island of Shwetadweep. So this is really interesting. So this is where he went. And after this universe is collapsed, this planet goes back to the Vaikuntha. And that's where he lives eternally with the Supreme Lord. Narad praises Dhruv as the Pacheta's sacrificial arena. Narad described how Dhruv attained a very exalted position by performing austerities at a tender age of 5 in a short period of time. He conquered the Supreme Lord by his devotion. This is a really interesting word. He conquered the Supreme Lord by his devotion. By hearing the story of Dhruv, one can increase one's wealth, reputation, and lifespan. One can also achieve Swarg, or Dhruv's own planet, the pole star, Dhruvalok. Hearing the story counteracts one's bad karma. By trying to understand Dhruv's pure character, one can attain pure devotional service and develop qualities like him. So that's the end of chapter 12. And I wanted to ask if devotees wanted to say anything or ask anything. You're very welcome to do so.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna and Lakmaji.
On the cover of Canto 4, there is a personality lying down, and then I presume it's the Lord, it's Lakshmi Narayan standing on him, or would you know who is it?
Let's have a look if I can find it. Let me just have
if you have a hard copy, it's there.
Oh, we've got the hard copy. Canto 4.
Upstairs.
Yeah, it's just there.
No, I was reading it. It's upstairs.
Oh, okay. Wait. I can just dig it out here. Canto 4. Do you know which part?
Prabhuji, it's on the cover.
Yeah, okay.
Part 2.
Let's see if I can let you see. Oh, no. Yeah, you'll have to find it. You'll go see if you can find it. Yeah, we just go and get it.
So since I've been reading this canto, I'm wondering who is this personality? Does it maybe would know?
Yeah. That's good. That's good. So while we're waiting, anybody? Okay. 2, 5. There's one with Prithu Maharaj, but that's not the one you're talking about. Canto 4.
His Archanam.
Sorry?
He did Archanam, deity worship.
That's right. Good boy. There's one, are you talking about 4th Canto Part 4?
Part 1.
Oh,
On the cover.
Part 1.
It's a different.
No, we've got a different one. Yeah.
We've got the old version.
Yeah.
It's okay, Prabhuji. Maybe when we read, we will find the story inside. Maybe.
It'll be interesting to just have a look at the Part 1, if I can find it. Okay, there is no Part 3. That's Part 3. No, can't find it. So anyway, maybe you can just take a picture of it and send it over.
Okay.
And I will have a look. Thank you. Anybody else? Any comments? Any questions? Quite nice pastimes. Very nice pastimes of Dhruv Maharaj. So that's the end of Dhruv Maharaj's pastimes. And then we're going on to the lineage, the family of Dhruv Maharaj, the future generations. in the next 3 chapters. So we can look at 3 chapters tomorrow. I think it should be.
I've already sent the pictures. Please just check. If you
Oh.
can.
Oh, that's Prithu Maharaj. Ah, yes.
King
He comes from the body of Venu.
Venu, King Venu.
Vena,
It's the next,
Vena.
yeah. It's the next section.
Yeah, we'll do it tomorrow probably.
Means when Vena was churned,
Vena.
the
Yeah,
Maharaj
Pain.
entered from his body.
that's right.
Yeah. Oh, okay, okay.
While
That's-
sages are chanting and some of them were churning Vena.
That's right.
Yes,
Good
I
work.
know.
Then Prithu Maharaj appeared.
That's right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well done. Well done. Well done. Thank you so much, dear devotees. I hope that was okay. And let's continue. Tomorrow we'll try to knock out 3 chapters as well. Let's have a look at the, oh, wait a minute. The lessons. Oh, Krishna. I tell you what, Indulekamaji, I've forgotten to put the instructions and the lessons today. Sorry about that. But you can read them out. You've got them in on your phone.
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
I have got them.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
sorry, I flaked out today.
That's okay. That's okay. Sometimes it happened, right? Okay, so 1 second. So Canto 4 lessons.
Yes.
Chapter 1. When we make a promise, we must fulfill it so that peace and harmony can reign in our life, as it is a long and lasting value. Chapter 2. We must never judge a person by their appearance, as it must be misleading. We must always consider that there is a spirit soul inside the body. Chapter 3. When one becomes proud of their possessions and position, they become blind spiritually and cannot discriminate positively. Thus, they tend to offend others.
Mm.
Which chapter I just said?
I think that was 3, wasn't it?
Okay, chapter 4. People who are envious and who offend devotees, taking them to be materialists, gradually but surely fall down. Chapter 5. The Supreme Personality of Godhead never tolerates the insult of his devotees. He personally comes to punish the miscreant. Chapter 6. Whenever we offend a person knowingly or unknowingly, we must seek forgiveness from them and try to render some service unto them. Chapter 7. When we are punished by our elders or guru, we must take it like as a blessing in disguise, because they are just trying to put us on the right path.
Mm.
And chapter 8. Okay, give me 1 second, please.
No problem, no problem.
Okay. Chapter 8. When someone is serious in their endeavor, the Lord definitely help them to fulfill their mission. And then chapter 9. I have to look for it. Okay, since the Lord is a cause of liberation from birth and death, we should take complete shelter of his lotus feet if we desire liberation from this material world. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. And I'll get my act together tomorrow.
No worries, Prabhuji.
The same with you, Madhusudan Prabhu. You have it on the phone, huh?
Sorry, yeah. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, yes.
Hare
yes.
Bol, Hare Krishna. Yeah, it's been a bit of a strange day, as you know.
Oh, yeah. We'll have to talk
You
about
know.
that. Yeah, we'll have to talk about that.
Yeah. And I just, while I was listening to the katha here, Trikal rang me just now.
Oh.
But I tried to ring him earlier on, but
Yes.
it's late at night and he had a very busy day.
Yes. Yes.
Because there in Bharat, everything gets done within a day.
Yep.
So obviously she left her body in the morning, and then
Yeah.
by this time the funeral and everything is done, so
Yeah. Sure.
yeah. So I'm sorry about that, but
Yep.
it was I had, my mind was also a bit like you, bit scattered at the moment, and but never mind, we still have to carry on. She her heart was in the right place, and she was in the right place, and
Yeah.
She desired to be in Vrindavan, live a body in Vrindavan. So
Correct.
what better
Way to do it.
way to do it than, to go through like that. So she's fortunate in that way.
Yeah.
And yeah, so obviously it's a bit tough on Trikal. He's on his own now, but and his son is in America, his daughter in America. They can't go because it's COVID business and all that.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, I could only do. We were doing 3 chapters. I did 10 and 11.
That's okay. You can do those 2 and then
12 to
catch up. Yeah.
Yeah, so I did just that one, and I was quickly reading through, and I felt that the instructions, I sent that to you, did I, or
Yeah,
not?
you did. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, so I'll actually, it's on my phone, so I might as well read it. I actually felt that, the purport of Prabhupada, where, Dhruv Maharaj is fighting all these yakshas, and these yakshas are quite smart in creating all these illusory energies and all that, a bit like what we are facing nowadays, with all these virtual reality kind of games and, illusory battles that we may have to fight and all that, which is quite strange, So and that purport is quite nice. So Prabhupada and purport say, he gives us assurance and confidence in dealing with the illusory forces, which is Kali Yuga. Kali Yuga is very illusory, with this virus and all that sort of thing going on. But that's our battles as well. Similar to what Dhruv Maharaj was facing. So Dhruv Maharaj was given a specific arrow made by Lord Narayan himself, and he now fixed it upon his bow to finish the illusory atmosphere created by the yakshas. As is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, it says, Mama eva prapadyante, mam etantarantite. Without Narayan, the Supreme Personality Godhead, no one is able to overcome the action of the illusory energy. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has also given us a nice weapon for this age, as stated in the Bhagavatam, Sango Pangastram. So in this age, the Narayan Astra is obviously means a weapon, and Sango Pangastram means association of the Sangha. Yeah, and the weapon to drive away Maya is the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra in pursuance of the associates of Lord Chaitanya, such as Advaita, Prabhu, Nityananda, Gadadhar, and Srivas. So this Panch Tattva are what is going to give us, is our weapon, actually, our weapon to fight the illusory energy. And, that's what Prabhupada kind of gives us. And it's quite a nice instruction. I thought it's quite appropriate, for this part of the chapter when Dhruv is battling away with his battles of illusory yakshas. Yeah. Okay.
Can I tell one shloka? Project Krishna Vannan Tvisha Krishna Sango Pangastapasiram.
Very good.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yajantihi Sumedasa.
And do you know what it means?
Wow. Wow, wonderful.
What does it mean, Riyansh?
Means Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came with his associates like Nityananda, Advaita, Gadadhara, Srivasadi. And in age of Kali, this Hare Krishna Maha mantra is very auspicious.
Yes, it's the weapon.
That's the weapon. Yep. Wonderful. You came out with that.
We all think that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has no weapon, but his weapon is only one mantra.
Good. Well done, Riyansh.
Say that mantra again.
Krishna Varnan Trisha Krishnam Sango Pangastapashidam Yagne Sankirtana Praye Yajanti Sumedasa.
Yajantem Sumadata. Yeah, very nice. Wonderful. Thank you very much for that. Keep it up. Very good.
Yeah, well done. Because what Madhusudan Prabhu was saying, he backed it up with the mantra. So
Yeah, amazing.
well
Wow,
done.
he's on the ball. Wonderful. Very good. Okay, thank you, Haribo.
Thank you very much. Okay, so if everybody's okay, we can go into the Nashinga Kavach. Let me find that as well. Yep, I got it. Yes, so we want to pray, of course, for Tunga Vidya. She's definitely in a great place because she passed away in Vrindavan this morning. But we will feel for Trikalagya because he's going to miss her like anything. So, and we wanted to pray for Pulatsya Muni and his wife get better from this COVID. And also my cousin Palvi and Prashad, I think they're getting better anyway. So anybody else? Anybody like to remember? Ketan? Yeah, definitely.